All right, let's dive right in. Today we're unpacking a pretty radical idea. What if the whole point of faith isn't about becoming more religious, but about moving beyond religion entirely? This whole journey, this whole concept, it really starts with one single powerful line. This line, it's from the book of Exodus, right from the very first Passover. And the idea here, the big takeaway, is that this is way more than just a historical event. It's the bedrock for a kind of security that has absolutely nothing to do with us and everything to do with what God sees and what He does. So, this promise is our starting block. The entire concept we're talking about, this faith-based security, it all kicks off right here with the blood of that Passover lamb. And this gets right to the heart of it. This promise isn't meant for us to analyze and reason our way through, like it's some kind of puzzle. No, it's written for our faith. The security comes from one simple thing: trusting the one who made the promise. That's it. Okay, and this leads us to the central challenge in this whole text, a radical call to get up and move, and not just physically but spiritually, to leave behind everything that's familiar and established. So what exactly is this camp that we're supposed to be leaving? Well, it's a really powerful metaphor for something I think we can all recognize in our own lives. In a nutshell, the camp is a symbol for organized religion itself. You know, all the traditions, the rituals, the man-made rules, what the text calls carnal ordinances, which really just means rules that focus on the physical stuff. The call is to step outside that whole system and into a relationship with a person, Christ. So why would anyone take such a huge, risky step? I mean, it sounds scary, right? Well, it's because everything waiting for you outside the camp is presented as being just better, way better than what's inside. It's framed as a complete and total upgrade. And just look at this list. This isn't just one or two small improvements. We're talking about a better hope, a completely new covenant, promises that are rock solid, and a final, once-and-for-all sacrifice. The point here isn't just a minor tweak, it's a complete shift into a spiritual reality that's just described as deeper, more secure, and eternal. And this quote right here, this just nails it. Notice where it tells us to go. Not to a better system, not to a new religion, but unto Him. It's a direct call to move from a system to a person. Even if that means you're going to catch some flack for it, that's the reproach for leaving the familiar behind. Now, this whole journey outside the camp, it brings up a huge question, and it really gets to the core of this entire argument. What is the difference between feeling secure and actually being secure? It seems like a simple question on the surface, but wow, the implications are massive. And to really drive this point home, we're given this incredible little story set way back on that very first Passover night. Okay, so check this out. On the left, you've got a son whose father lied to him. The blood wasn't actually put on the door, but the son believes his dad, so he feels totally calm. On the right, you've got a son whose father did apply the blood, but the son is a nervous wreck, doubting his father's word. So here's the million-dollar question. Which one is actually safe? It's the anxious one, the one who's terrified. His safety had absolutely nothing to do with how he felt. It was based entirely on the reality of the blood on the door outside. And here it is, the incredible conclusion from that story. Our actual security is an objective fact. It's based on God's promise. That part's already settled. But our enjoyment of that security, our peace of mind, that part depends on whether we actually choose to believe it. They are two totally separate things. And this is really the central point. The promise hinges on God's perspective, not ours. The condition was when I see the blood, not when you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Our security is based on something completely external to us. So if you actually follow this path, if you leave the camp and you trust the promise over your own feelings, where do you end up? Well, you arrive in what's described as a completely new reality. By leaving behind all the temporary, man-made structures, all the things that can be shaken and fall apart, we enter a kingdom that is permanent, that is totally secure. It's a fundamental shift from the earthly and temporary to the heavenly and eternal. And what is the very first thing that happens when they're finally safe, finally free from that old life? They sing. It's not a song about trying harder or being better people. It's a song of pure relief. It's a song of deliverance and worship. And this is the ultimate destination, a state of being where the focus is no longer on us, not on our performance, not on our religious duties or checklists. It's a complete reorientation where everything, and I mean everything, becomes about Him.
The struggle inside the camp is replaced by a relationship outside of it.
So this brings us right to the final question, doesn't it? This idea of the camp might be ancient, but it feels incredibly timeless. It leaves us asking ourselves, what might a modern camp look like in our own lives? What systems, what traditions, what mindsets are we being invited to step outside of in order to find something so much better?